Welcome to my latest battle report. This is a big one. 8,000 points in total. 4,000 points worth of Necrons spilling across this battle grid versus 4,000 points worth of Tau. Not a bit of power armor in sight. Today we're fighting on one of the homeworlds for the Tau Sept of the Summer Lightning. It was once an Imperial world, and in the distance over there I'd like you to imagine that the hills go up and get taller in the distance, and on the left and right of this battle grid there's high canyon walls. So the hills come down into this broad open canyon where stand the Pillars of Hercules. At least that's what the Imperials called them when they lived on this planet before the Tau pushed them out and assimilated them. And the Necrons will be spilling down from the hills over here, down into this canyon, through the Pillars of Hercules. And these are the objectives that either side must take at the end of this custom mission. The Tau can let the Necrons go no further. They will stop them at the Pillars of Hercules, and of course the Necrons want to continue spilling forward into the soft meat, into the homeworld of the Sept of the Summer Lightning. Joining me today in charge of the Tau will be Salt and Plays. Say hi, Salt and Plays.
Hi, Salt and Plays.
And you've got a YouTube channel. What's it called?
Salt and Plays.
So if people want lots of extra hobby goodness and stuff, they should go to
Salt and Plays
YouTube channel. This is my 4,000 point Necron list. It does come with multiple detachments and things and relics and other stuff, but we're both going to start the game, this custom narrative game, with 12 CP each. You've spent a lot. I've spent a lot. With Relentless Expansionists, a free 6-inch move before the game begins, Sultan. I'm going to use that during deployment because my entire army cannot fit in my deployment zone. So they've already used their pre-game move here. Otherwise, I'd have to reserve lots of stuff. And the only things that I want to reserve are these two Night Scythes. And they'll be dropping in turn 2 and turn 3, dropping off 20 warriors and 20 warriors each. Because Night Scythes beam stuff through using this dimensional gateway here from another place, from another dimension. Beam stuff, lots of warriors onto the battle grid. With the central line running down the middle of the battle grid and our deployment zones being 12 inches back and 12 inches back, the Tau will have to deploy 12 inches back, but when I stick my stuff down, I'll be 6 inches back, closer to the Pillars of Hercules, closer to the key objectives, and more than that, with Eternal Conquerors, everything in my army has objectives secured. If I'm on the objectives at the end of the game, I would take those objectives at the end of the game. I have a massive amount of canoptic constructs flying in. Of course, the Vault and the Monolith, 12 Scorpec destroyers, 14 Lockhurst destroyers, and down in the front, Destroyer Lord, Overlord, 2 Chronomancers, 2 Technomancers. The Destroyer Lord has Enduring Will, -1 damage, and he has the Orb of Eternity, the special once per game res orb. Next to him is my Overlord. He is an honourable combatant, Sultan.
Yes. So
if he gets in combat with a character, he gets an extra 2 attacks.
that's where I don't want to be, guys.
And he's also got the Arrow of Infinity, a one-shot damage 6 weapon. The Chronomancer next to him has got Veil of Darkness, so he can zip around all over the place. And Chronomancers give units 5+ invulnerable saves. And both of the Technomancers here, which are basically like apothecaries and pick stuff up, well, they've got canoptic control nodes, so they can make canoptic constructs hit on 1 better. So there's source in this list. There's a lot of canoptic constructs pushing their way forward along with the Scorpex, and in later game turns, the warriors are going to be appearing out of a different dimension. Of course, the Monolith as well has redeployment shenanigans, and the Veil of Darkness also allows me a redeployment shenanigan. Let's go and have a look at the Tau.
If your army's source, what kind of source is it?
Source, red hot, Frank's red hot.
Oh, that's a really good choice.
Yeah. This is the Scepter, the Summer Lightning, and it is a full suit list, not a little bit of infantry in sight. We have Crisis suits, we have Cold Star suits, we have Riptides, we have Storm Surges, and we have this bad boy, what's it called?
A Taunar.
A Taunar.
It's a toddler, look at it.
Which is 1,000-point Titan,
Yes,
essentially. What do the Scepter, the Summer Lightning do? I know they're allied to Farsight.
Yes, so they use that doctrine. Essentially, they'll get an extra marker light within 9 inches of another unit. So I say an extra marker light, they just don't have to put one on. So they get 1 ballistic skill when they're within 9, but that puts me in charge range of your horrors.
So marker lights hit them better if they're in close range. Help them hit better.
Yes, exactly that, yeah. And then they also get to reroll 1 wound a turn per unit.
We're definitely not going to forget that.
I'm sure I will.
I must point out that almost all of these models here are expertly painted to level 4 standard by Den of Imagination Painting Studios, and they did all these epic bases as well. You've added a couple to it because they told you the paint recipe.
They did.
The exact colours.
So them, these two, and him.
So you added the big boy and a few others, but the rest painted by Den. Because you know how to paint too, because you have your own commission thing, Salt and Plays as well. So you shoot better at close range and warlords and relics and things.
Yeah, so Warlord is Sunstrike, as always. He's got 3 plasma rifles, one of which is the upgraded plasma rifle that ignores invulnerable saves.
Brilliant.
He's got, not Master of the Killing Blow, he's got Precision of the Hunter, which allows him to reroll all hits and wounds.
Yes.
He's got 2 shield drones with him, and I've taken a different relic for him today. Normally I take the 5 at Feel No Pain and 2+ armor relic, but because I always use that, I went for the solid projection unit, so I could squeeze in an extra gun, which is a 4-up invuln, and the first damage that comes through per phase is changed to 0.
4-up invuln, change to 0, first damage.
For those who want to know why he's so tough, there is an awesome campaign over on Deployment Zone that you should definitely go and watch.
Sunstrike campaign.
Yes, that's where he earned his name. To his left, we've got Commander Storm Shadow. He has 3 fusion blasters and the Onager Gauntlet, and a 4-up invuln shield projector.
Onager Gauntlet.
Yes,
he's going to actually punch something. Tau close combat, epic.
Epic. He's got 2 marker drones with him because he's a bit slower, so he's not going to be bouncing around all over the place. He's going to have those markers lighting them up. He has Master of the Killing Blow as his Warlord trait, which means that you cannot ignore the damage at all for any reason.
Okay.
So Trugs, the 3 wounds a phase thing just doesn't happen against him. I'm not sure it will really affect the Necrons today.
Okay.
But it's a cool little trait.
And then suits. Everywhere.
Suits.
Then let's get to the elephant in the room, or the beautiful Taunar 1,000-point model. What does it do? What is it?
Well, it's got a 2-up save, toughness 8 and 30 wounds, and a 5 of invuln, and all the guns.
Okay. And because it's a custom game, and because the Tau are springing this trap, I have deployed and done my free 6-inch move with the Necrons. A strong canoptic presence over this side of the battle grid, backed up by the Technomancer with the canoptic cloak. And then to the centre and to the right, I have all the Scorpex and a metric ton of Lockhurst destroyers. Lots and lots of destroyers. And floating across this battle grid, pulsing out waves of unreality, literally breaking the laws of physics. The Tesseract Fault. The flyers are screaming down from the hills behind now, Sultan. You may deploy your entire army.
Okay.
Up to 12 inches from the centre, yes?
Yeah.
Now, this is your ambush, so you can go first or second. If you go first, you'll be able to do some serious damage to the Necrons.
Yeah.
If you go second, then I get to move again and I'll already be at the Pillars of Hercules, but you'll get the last action of the game. If I'm camping on some of these objectives, you'll have the last opportunity to push me off. So do you want to go first or second?
Well, we are obeying the tenets of the patient hunter, so I think I have to go second.
Okay, so you're going second. Now, there's a twist in the tale, Sultan. You may win the battle but lose the war. You may win the battle of the Pillars of Hercules, but you may lose the war and lose your commander. So each of these objectives is worth D3, is worth 1 point each. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But at the end of the game, there'll be an additional, not until the very end of the game, an additional D3 points for Slay the Warlord, and I'm not holding back with mine.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, narratively, Sunstrike can't die.
Yeah. But in this one, he might be narrative.
Is your Necron Overlord just like,
No.
Crap,
but
I forgot about that.
I could send him back to the old folks' home when he has to hang out there for a year.
Sit as in a frame for a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
he is old now.
1, 2, 3 points plus D3 points for Slay the Warlord. Let's deploy the Tau. And so the trap is sprung. It's a case of quality over quantity. A crash echoes between the Pillars of Hercules as the Tau drop down from the manta above, supported by the KX-139 Taunar Supremacy Armour. However, Sunstrike has ordered 2 units of crisis suits to fire their retro boosters and hang out in the sky for a little bit longer, ready to drop in turns 2 or 3. He's also ordered his strike team to deploy quite a way back, so most of the Necron guns will be out of range in turn 1. Will this elite team of battlesuits be able to stop the Necron surge, or have they simply not brought enough gun? Well, let's find out as we go on to Necrons, turn 1. So we've moved forward, everything's moved forward. Advancing here with the Canoptic Swarm, even had to move the Doomstalkers down because they weren't in range of any of the Tau Battlesuits, moving up the centre of the battle grid as well and advancing a little bit with the Scorpex and the Immortals. In fact, at the end of my first turn, because Sunstrike is deployed so conservatively, I only have 3 guns in range. The monolith powers up its particle whip and has 3 shots and fires across at this crisis team with fusion down here, hitting on 4s though. I'll be going through the trees and wounding on 3s. And the little drone flies in front and intercepts this. Yes, it gets blown up. And the other 2 guns, the Gauss Destructors in the Lockhurst team back here, are in range of your XV-88s. One of them's hitting on 2s because of My Will Be Done, and re-rolling 1s, it's the Destroyer. The other one's hitting on a 3.
Nice.
And these will wound on 3s. And they don't have shield drones or invulnerable saves. So at -4 you need 6 up saves.
Well, I'm going to spend 1 CP
right
for Saviour Protocols.
Okay.
So one of the marker drones blows up.
Okay. Floats in front and intercepts the shot.
Yeah.
The other one on a 6.
Oh,
you don't get a
it
6.
advanced
Now,
up.
they have 8 wounds.
They do,
This
yeah.
damage is 3d3. Which is 6 wounds, and if I were to pay a CP to re-roll, I can't just re-roll 1 dice because the damage is 3d3. I'll have to re-roll all the dice, so I'm not spending a CP. One of the broadsides is down to 2 wounds remaining, and that is the end of my shooting phase. Sunstrike and the Tau have weathered this quick advance from the Necrons. This unit of Lockhurst Destroyers has now got a 5-up invulnerable save. That unit of Scorpex has now got a 5-up invulnerable save because of the Chronomancers nearby. Only 2 drones die from the opening salvo of the Necrons, but the Tau have given up a lot of ground. Now let's find out how devastating their guns can be in Tau turn 1. The Tau force move out and fire marker lights across the line. 1, 2, 1 across here. As for the broadsides, well, they have the move and shoot ability. What's it called?
Stabilised optics.
Stabilised optics, and you also remembered you actually paid for drones in that squad.
Yeah.
So one of the drones took the original shot. Of course, the Storm Surge has locked its anchors into place, so it's going to re-roll all hits, and then Dynamic Offensive played over here with this unit of crisis teams. It means they can move further forward and shoot, and you're also going to spend another CP after they've shot to jump back again. That's called Strike and Fade. So these guys are firing at the Wraiths using the marker light.
So 3s re-rolling 1s because of Sunstrike.
And the Fusion Blasters win on 3s.
With a single re-roll, which I don't need.
The Wraiths flicker in and out of reality though. And on 4s, the shots just go straight through them, finding only 2 marks. D6 on the first Wraith. Kills it. And kills the second. 6 wounds here. So 6 dice, reanimating on 5s and 6s. Not enough successes to heal a whole unit. I've also got Protocol of the Undying Legions. I'll be using that for the whole game because you pick a protocol when it's entirely in effect. And you're supposed to cycle through the other ones, Sultan, but I'm not going to cycle through the other ones. It's too complicated. And even with a reroll, I wouldn't have been able to help one of my Wraiths here. The unit jumped back, then Sunstrike shoots. He's got 4 plasma rifles, one of which ignores inbuns.
So he's the first 3. He rerolls all hits and wounds.
Nice.
Okay, so he hits on 2s.
Okay.
Hits every time. And he'll wound on
3s.
strength 8, so 3s with a reroll. Doesn't need it. So these are the ones you have saves against.
Okay.
3 damage.
Okay. Kills 2 more Wraiths.
Okay, and here's the one that ignores. Hits.
Doesn't
reroll
wound.
for 3.
Does wound, so you kill 3. Leaving 1 Wraith. Meanwhile, the living metal reanimates around it.
One comes back.
And that'll pull 1 back into the squad. From the left flank, we're moving across to the centre. The Taunar, the massive suit, is firing its big guns at it. The big guns, they're pulse ordnance drivers. It normally hits on 3s, but spending a marker light to hit on 2s.
Okay. So misses twice.
CPing one of them. Strength 10 wounds on 3s. And you have. And you can re-roll a wound because
Super heavies don't get set traits, is that right?
Okay, yes. So I need 4 up and vulnerable saves on the Tesseract Vault. And I make 2 of them. And these massive guns are 5 damage a time. That's 10 damage. The Vault's already down to 20 wounds remaining. And then it's got its tri-axis arc cannon.
Ion cannon, yeah.
3d6 shots.
Oh.
It's only 4. 2s to hit. Everything hits though. Strength 8, toughness 7.
So 3s, misses 2.
4 up and buns. I'm making both. That's the big gun on top and his left fist. The Fusion Eradicate around here is very anti-tank. It's 24-inch range and out of range. In its chest, however, lots of anti-infantry shots, 4 burst cannons and 4 smart missile systems. And they're firing out into the Immortals and into the Immortals. When the dust settles from the shots, the Immortals rebuild, reform, and they're not dead yet. So the Storm Surge is going to fire its cluster rocket system and all the burst cannons at the Immortals as well. Try and clear away the troops, the chaff. But the Pulse Blast Cannon and the Destroy Missiles are going into the Tesseract Vault. Spending that marker light one more time.
Yes.
So you're hitting on 3s with the big guns.
With a reroll.
And you're re-rolling because you put your suits, your legs down in place. And you're wounding on 3s.
With a single
Re-roll.
So.
And the Pulse Blast Cannon can get up to 12 damage at 24-inch range. But at this range, it's only 4 damage.
Only 4, yeah.
I need 4 up and vulnerable saves. I fail 3, so I'm going to spend a CP. I pass 3. So it's on 12 left. Destroyer missiles.
3s with a reroll.
And winning on 3s.
Trump 12.
With 4 up and bun. And I fail that. And this is 2d3 damage. For 4 damage. It's on 8 wounds left, sparking, flickering electricity. Then we have got 4d6 cluster missiles coming in here, and the burst cannons coming into the Immortals on the right. And this time both of the squads of Immortals get wiped out. Now we're coming on to Crisis Suit number 1, backed up by your second in command, firing in to the Scorpec destroyers and using the marker light one more time to hit on 3s. Firing missiles, lots of missiles.
So 3s rerolling 1s.
Because there's a commander nearby.
Because there is. They've missed 1 so far. They've missed 1.
Strength 7 missiles. Wound on 3s. Because of Farsight. I'm touching your dice.
Whoa.
Too many dice to roll. 5s. 2 damage a time. It's 1 dead, 2 dead, 3 dead. 1's on 1 wound. Reanimation. 4 Scorpec remain, but wait, they're going to get lit up by even more shots. The smart missile systems from the broadsides, the XV-88s down here, and the big railguns are going to smash into the Tesseract Vault. Here's the SMS, but they're hitting on 4s now. No marker light support.
But they can see, so they're not hitting on 5s.
I'm winning on 4s.
With a single reroll that I'm going to save.
Many 4-up saves to make. Remember, 1 was injured. So another 3 in total get obliterated and then begin to reform. Again, I can reroll one of these dice, but it isn't helping me at any point. And now we've got 2 left in that squad. Meanwhile, rail cannon shot, solid shot, thump in overhead, hitting on 4s. I don't know how they can miss the target, and they certainly don't. Yes. Because 5 hits come slamming in.
Strength 9, so 3s with my reroll that I saved.
Okay.
Each wound is a 1 mortal wound in addition.
Okay.
And these are -4.
1 minute. So that's 3 mortal wounds in addition, which puts me down to 5 wounds remaining.
Yeah.
And then I've got to make at least 3 4-up and vulnerable saves. And I make only 1. And I've spent a CP already. How much damage is this?
D3 plus 3.
D3 plus 3.
Yeah.
So that's minimum 8.
Yes.
So I can't save. So the Tesseract Vault gets ripped apart and doesn't blow up. And so the combined firepower of the Tau, the Storm Surge and the broadsides was enough to rip the Tesseract Vault to pieces. And we're going to start with this Riptide. It's overcharged and overcharged its guns, and it's firing everything into the 2 remaining Scorpecs. And they're completely wiped out. Now, that's a bit of overkill, but you don't want them reanimating.
Reanimation is good.
And you know I've got the special magical resorb, so even if one was left alive, I'd have been able to pour some back in. Now, the last gun left to speak is the Ion Tide, firing down into the non-invulnerable save Lockhurst Destroyers. You see the electricity flickering over that unit from the Chronomancer. He's blessed them, but not these. The ion gun has been overcharged, so it's 8 shots hitting on 4s. These wound on 3s.
Single reroll if I need it.
At AP -3, I need 6s, and I make one of them, but each of those is 3 damage a time, killing a destroyer. Now 2 plasma rifles.
4s.
One of them hits.
3s.
And it wounds. -4, I don't get a save, flat 3 damage, wipes out another one. Actually, Sultan, I'll do this, because the heavy destroyer's got 4 wounds. So that last shot doesn't kill it.
You know what
but
that
you
is?
do what?
That's tactics.
It's tactical genius. But I do have some reanimation here on 5s. I get one back. And that is the end of the Tau firepower in turn 1. So far, so good at keeping us back. The Tesseract Vault has got 30 wounds and a 4-up invulnerable save. You got rid of that.
That was absolutely... It took a lot of firepower, though. I mean, I wouldn't normally bring a toddler.
Well, no, we don't normally see the Taunar very often. Now, that was 30 wounds with a 4-up invulnerable save. The Monolith, which hasn't been touched, it's got 24 wounds, no invulnerable save, so I don't think that's going to be around for very much longer. You wiped out both of the units of Immortals and a unit of Scorpec Lords, Scorpec Destroyers down there, and hurt the Wraiths around this side.
But you just need a model on a objective because you have offset.
Yeah, you have to slaughter me utterly.
And now, basically table you,
hopefully I've got some guns in range. I don't know if I'm going to be close enough for some assaults in turn 2, but I do have 1 Night Scythe. I'm going to bring 1 on this turn, and 1 on the next turn. And the pressure turns up to 11 as the Necrons come spilling forward. Now, in the command phase, before anything over here came dashing down towards these crisis suits, my Technomancer here resurrected one of the Wraiths in this unit. So I was able to put it at the front, and that would be a 6-inch charge against this crisis team. In the middle, I haven't popped the once per battle resorb yet, but I have put a 5-up invulnerable save on this unit of Lockhurst Destroyers and a 5-up invulnerable save on this unit of Scorpec Destroyers from the Chronomancers. And while I mean to charge on the left flank with all the Canoptech stuff, I mean to unload a wave of firepower up the middle, backed up by the Doomsday Stalkers in the backfield. And then over on this flank, the Night Scythe has come on in the reserve step of the movement phase, and then Prismatic Dimensional Breach. The Warriors have appeared. Wholly within 3 inches of the scythe and outside of engagement range after the vehicle moved, and yes, they can shoot and charge. So we'll start with the Warriors firing their Gauss Reapers at the Riptide, and they've pressed the big red shiny button on the side of the gun, turning on Disintegration Capacitor mode, which mean those 6s auto wound, the rest wounds on 5s. And at -2, these are all 4-up saves. 1 damage a time. 7 wounds come through. The Riptide's on 7 wounds remaining. Then the Night Scythe unloads its twin Tesla Destructor on 3s, which wound on 4s. You get 2-up saves against Tesla. And it takes another wound. And then coming around here to the big guns, Doomstalker number 1. The only thing in range are those crisis suits. And it powers up its Doomsday Blaster, which fires D6 times, 5 times. And it hits on 3s, and at strength 10, it'll wound on 2s. They have shield generators, so 4+ invulnerable saves.
Make 1 fail. So this will be Saviour Protocols.
So spend a CP.
To kill a drone that's nearby from another unit.
And the other one gets
failed,
in. D6 damage. For 3 damage.
Use a suit.
I think they start on 4.
They do.
The other 2 Stalkers, though, are going to fire over the head of that unit and try and hit the Riptide instead, because that unit in front are going to get lit up by the Lockhurst Destroyers down here, okay? So I'll do this together. 2d6 shots for 11 shots. They couldn't fire last turn because they were walking down, so the power has just been building and building and building, and they can hit pretty well as well, and they'll wound the Riptide on 3s. wounding the Riptide 6 times, but it does as a 4+ and vulnerable save.
4-ups. Ooh.
And fails 4 of them.
I'm going to command
D6
point one
damage
of
a
them.
time.
I'm going to command point 1. No.
Still fails 4 of them. 14 wounds to get through. And the cannon goes thumping through its chassis. It's on 2 wounds remaining. Now down in front of it, the Crisis team are going to get lit up by this unit of destroyers, which currently have a 5-up and vulnerable save, and are currently Mind Will Be Done. We're hitting on 2s. Many shots with the Gauss cannons, re-rolling 1s, because that's what destroyers do. And wounding the suits on 3s, and re-rolling 1s, because there's a destroyer lord nearby. And the Crisis team have 14 4+ and vulnerable saves to make on their shield generator. And you rolled pretty well. Very well. You only fell 5. D3 damage a time. That kills the first fella, right?
Yep.
4 wounds each. So these 2 is 4 wounds, kills the next guy. And these 2, I kill the squad. And that's the first unit. The Necrons have been able to utterly wipe out. One of the Riptides is on 2 wounds left now. So the second squad of Lockhurst destroyers, I'm going to fire the Gauss Destructor at the Riptide on 2 wounds left, because that's a 3d3 damage gun. And now there's 2 in this squad, which are still in range of the Crisis team over there. So firing the Gauss cannons, the 2 in range of the Crisis team over there, hit on 3s and wound on 3s. But that squad has a couple of drones in it. So 1 drone dies, then the inverns.
Cool.
Okay, so you fail 1 more, and that kills a suit. Pulling from the front, making the charge longer. Now the Gauss Destructor going into the Riptide on a 3, and wounding on a 3. And a 4-up and vulnerable saves.
Come on, Riptide.
And
Yes!
the Riptide takes the blow. So the last thing now in range is the Particle Whip from the Monolith. Really want that Riptide dead. But is the crystal on top pulsing enough power? 4 times. Yes, it is. 4 shots of power is good. Hitting twice is not good. And only wounding once. 4+.
Yay.
And it's alive. Its shield's completely crackling with energy. It's been shot through with holes, but it's not out of the fight yet. And that is the end of the Necron shooting phase.
The Riptide who could.
Yeah. Well, it might not be long for this one.
No.
So we're going to come round here to the charge phase. That closest unit of Wraiths is a 7-inch charge against those Crisis suits. And you're spending a CP on something?
Repulsor impact field. So
does
everything
that
that
do?
declares that as a charge is -2 to their charge.
So this is a 9-inch charge from the front unit of Wraiths. Are you overwatching?
No, I'm saving that.
Okay. I fail the charge. Let's CP reroll that.
Good luck.
I fail the charge. The other unit of Wraiths over here that could potentially charge, that's a 10. And they fail the charge as well. And so the repulsor impact field of the Crisis suits drive the Wraiths back. We have a second charge
Overwatch.
over here. Warriors against Riptide. You can Overwatch.
I can Overwatch for free and hit on 5s.
Overwatch
Because
for
of
free?
the thing that I forgot its name. It's not counter-fire defense system. Early warning
Something.
override.
That's the one.
Yeah.
The plan is here, by the way, is not to really hurt it in close combat, but
Tie
to
it up,
tie
yeah.
you up a little bit. Now, I know suits can fire into close combat, but tying you up with a bunch of warriors is good. Oh, we should also mention to people Montcar or Kaon.
Kion.
Kaon. Why
Yes.
Kaon?
Because what is happening now where I lose units, I still need to be as deadly in the later turns. And
Yeah, in turns 3, 4, and 5,
you're going to tie me up.
your shots begin to explode and become more
And
devastating.
I can fall back and shoot.
Right, let's do some Overwatch against these warriors. After Overwatch, the warriors went charging in, and I didn't manage to put any wounds on the Riptide. In return, it's killed 2 back with Overwatch and by stamping on them with its big stampy feet. But the Necrons have engaged the Sept of the Summer Lightning in close combat. Both of the Riptides have been taking a battering, but the 2 Titanic units in the backfield are untouched. So there's still plenty of guns here for the Tau to unleash. And managing to stay out of multiple combats, well, that's a result for them. Also, not forget, Commander Sunstrike ordered a couple of units of Crisis teams to stay up in the sky. So they can drop in now on Tau, turn 2. In the Tau movement phase, there's been a shift from the centre across to the left to deal with all the Wraiths that are charging in over this side, and the Riptide has stepped back from combat. This unit of crisis teams with all the plasma has dropped in here.
Yes.
Drop site clear
Yeah.
stratagem being employed means that they're going to reroll all hits and all wounds on the turn they come in on, and they're looking at the side armor of that monolith. And the monolith has a marker light, as well as that squad and one of the squads over there. This Riptide here has dropped back from close combat. In turn 3, you'll be able to shoot after falling back from close combat, but it's turn 2. And then this one over here, this suit, you've given it all the beans. What have you done? It's only got 2 wounds left.
It couldn't do its Nova Charge. It would have failed and burned out. So I spent 2 CP that means the auto charge doesn't, the Nova Charge doesn't burn out,
right,
and goes off.
Yes.
So he's got the extra gun because he's only got 2 wounds left. So the 5-up shrug is not going to help.
Okay.
And I've also done backup AI, which allows him to go full profile.
Okay, so he's going to fire so one last surge of energy from that Riptide on 2 wounds
before he detonates. Yeah.
Before he gets taken out. And so in this shooting phase, the Tau mean to pour as much firepower down into the Wraiths as possible because they're the fastest unit on the table, and hurt the monolith, and also pour firepower again down between the Pillars of Hercules. This could be a very brutal turn. Let's go on to the Tau shooting phase. Starting down here on the left flank with these 2 fusion crisis guys.
Yep.
They're hit on 3s because you're in 9-inch range.
Yeah.
And you don't
Every
need
time.
to reroll once because he's there.
So 3s to wound now.
He is. And that
Everything
is
wounds, wow.
6 4-up saves. I fail 4 of them.
D6 plus 2 at this range.
D6 plus 2 at this range. That Wraith team get wiped out. Extra firepower now coming in from the Riptide that's been beefed up, firing in at this unit of Wraiths with a marker light on. Its backup AI turning the heavy burst cannon into 18 shots.
16.
16 shots. 16 shots. Winning on 3s.
With a single reroll.
Okay. And I need 4-up saves.
That's good
Each
saving.
doing 2 damage. Only 1 Wraith gets taken out so far and 1 injured. But he's got SMS.
3s.
Nice. And wounding on 4s at -1. 1's on 1 wound remaining. He's gone. But, no getting back up again. So 4 Wraiths are left in that unit, and 1's on 2 wounds remaining. Okay, so any more firepower coming over on this flank, Sultan?
Maybe in a bit.
Okay.
I'm going to go to where I know what's going on.
What's going
And then
on?
we're going to work it out. We're going to do everything here, which is 15 plasma rifles going into this thing.
And that thing is a monolith.
It's going to be dead, hopefully.
Drop zone clear, hitting on 3s with marker light help, re-rolling all hits. 2 CP, that stratagem.
Yeah. Worth its weight in gold here.
Well, yes, you missed twice. And then strength 8 versus toughness 8. So force to wound. Drop dice don't count. And re-rolling all failed wounds with drop site clear. What's the AP? 4, isn't it?
-4, yeah.
11 plasma rounds go thumping into the hull of the monolith. I need 6-up saves.
We made 3.
And each of these is 3 damage. Dude.
It's 24.
That's exactly 24 damage. That's a dead one. Well, I could CP it for a 6.
Imagine if it got a 6.
Yeah, but I want to keep it alive. No, does it blow up? It doesn't blow up.
Imagine if you got a 6 to blow up and that would have been your save. That would have been
The
horrible.
plasma just melts this into a pile of melted metal. Right, where are we going to next, Salt, when you were pointing at the Storm Surge?
Yes, so we're going to do big gun and destroyer missiles into this squad of 4. It might be overkill, but I need them gone or they reanimate.
Yeah, 2 lost destroy missiles and that's it.
Yeah, and they're right next to me.
Okay.
Then all the extra stuff, the SMS, the cluster missiles, and the burst cannons are going to try and clear as many warriors as they can.
Try and clear your lines. Okay, disperse shot from the big gun coming into the Wraiths.
He's re-rolling because he didn't move.
Okay.
So
Anchors
4s.
deployed.
So he's going to re-roll. He's only hit once so far.
Brilliant.
Now he's hit many more times.
The anchors helping it hit better there. Strength 12. 2s to wound.
With a single re-roll if I want it, which I'm going to use.
Okay.
I didn't get, so 4.
And it's a flat 4 damage, right? So every failed save will kill a Wraith.
Yes.
There's
one's
1
around.
Wraith remaining. Now the 2 destroy missiles.
4s with a re-roll. 1 hit.
1 hit.
Strength 10. Wounds.
1 wound. I need a 4-up invulnerable save or dead unit of Wraiths.
Well, it's 2d3 damage, so he might live.
Or dead unit of Wraiths. So now I'm going to CP reroll that because I'd really like to reanimate the squad. Okay?
Okay. That's
And
a good
I make
CP.
So let's see if any get back up again.
One does.
2. So there's a unit of 2 remaining after getting lit up by that storm surge. And now we're going to do 4d6 shots from its cluster rocket pod in its chest down into the warriors.
I think it's blast as well, but I can't be bothered to do the maths on that right now.
Is it? Dude, it is blast, so you don't need to re-roll. There's more than 10 in that squad. That's 24 shots. Oh. 4s. Re-rolling. 3s to wound, no re-roll. And I need 5s to save.
So not 5s.
That's 7 so far. Here's the burst cannons.
4s with a re-roll.
3s to wound.
No AP though.
No AP.
No AP.
6 more 4-up saves. 3 more die. Then the SMS. And with the re-roll. And these will also wound on 3s, but these are -1 as well. Should have done them with the cluster pod. 2 more 5s. Okay, so I need to reanimate all of these. You don't wipe out the squad, because if you wipe out the squad entirely, I don't get to reanimate.
That was a lot of shots to not wipe out a squad.
Yes. These reanimate on 5s. Now, warriors re-roll 1s to reanimate, and remember with my protocols, I can re-roll an extra 1. And that doesn't help at all. So in the end, you take down 7 warriors. And that leaves 11 warriors remaining, but they're going to get lit up by more shots. All the anti-infantry shots from the Tau are going to go flying into it. The melt gun on its right arm is going to try and burn the flyer out of the sky. Yep. And the left arm and the big guns, you're worried about the wraiths still.
Still about them, yeah.
So firepower not coming up in the middle into the Lockhurst instead, coming down into this unit of wraiths, which do have a marker light on.
Yes.
Pulse Ordnance Driver on the shoulders this time, doing the concentrated. It's a damage 5 gun.
Or go home.
Hitting on 2s because of the marker light.
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Everything hits. This will wound on 2s instead of 3s. Okay, everything wounds. Now each failed save will kill a wraith, and I've CP rerolled already. But I make 4 of them. Now you're overcharging the Triaxis Ion Cannon, which is 3d6 shots. Now, this will hit on 2s, but because you've overcooked it, 1s will do mortal wounds to the suit.
You only do a max of D3, so okay. If I get even if I get 7 1s.
Right.
So I do 3 more ones to myself, the rest hit.
Okay. And it's strength 8, so 3s to wound.
3s to wound with the reroll.
Nice. Boom, it comes smashing down. 6 more invulnerable saves or death on these wraiths. There's only 4 remaining. There's 1 remaining. That's enough for reanimation. How many pull back together again? Only 1. 2 left in that squad. And so in 2 turns, my 18 warriors with 4+ invulnerable saves have gone down to 4. 2 in one squad, 2 in another squad. And now we have the fusion gun smashing up at this flyer here. It's going to hit on 5s because you're not within 9-inch range. -1 to hit, it's a fly thing. Oh no, 4s because you normally hit on 3s.
Yes.
So 4s to hit the flyer.
Like a normal town.
And you hit the flyer 3 times, and it's a melter. It will wound on 3s. And the melter beam just disperses in the air, fails to wound the flyer at all. And now we have many shots flying down into the warriors. -1 ballistic skill, firing down through the trees there, but they are within 9. So back to hitting on 3s. Daka, daka, daka. Say the orcs. That's what the orcs say.
I'm not an orc.
Wounding on 3s. 7 5-up saves. And now there's 7 warriors remaining. And then 24 shots come in from the burst cannons, hitting on 3s. And a wounding on 3s. Ooh, forcing 7 saves. I can't fail a 4-up save. I pass 2, which means they're still alive, which means they get to reanimate after that firepower. And 5 so far, 5 fall. And there's only 2 warriors left. So now we're going across to the broadside, the XV-88s. They're putting all their SMS into those last 2 remaining warriors. And the rail cannons are smashing out into this unit of Lockhurst Lords, which have a marker light on and are not flickering with chronomancy electricity. They don't have any saves against this.
3s.
Okay. And 3s to wound.
With a reroll.
Okay, no save at all. 2d3, 2d3, 2d3 damage.
Well, it's d3 plus 3.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, so the first one's dead, the second one's dead, and the third one's dead.
And then 3 more wounds.
So that'll kill the 3 that came through. And then the 3 mortal wounds kill. That's nasty. Leaving 1 left, Sultan, who tries to reanimate some of his friends. Only 1's coming back. 1 minute, I've got 4 on the reanimation, so we might as well put the big gun back in. And I've put it back in there, so I'm in range of my res orb. Over here, the Riptides fired into that unit of warriors, utterly killing them finally, because you don't want me spending 2 ZP. And then doing some shenanigans, and then tying up some more stuff. You forgot to do fire and fade with that unit of suits there, so you can leave them now. They can go back up to 6 inches.
Just going back here.
And then the
put
last...
as much distance as I can between me and them.
Yes, you don't want the wraiths touching you at all.
No.
The last thing left to fire is Commander Sunstrike.
So he's got his 3 normal plasma rifles going into them.
Okay.
And his other one will do separately, which is also going into them. So he hits on 2s, re-rolling.
Why does he roll? It's a warlock trait.
Warlock trait, yeah. He'll wound on
3s.
3s. So 1 wound.
4 off and done. No, 1's dead.
And then the one that ignores invulns hits on a 2, wounds on a that.
And you wipe the squad. And that is the end of Tau turn 2. I've got a Spitter and some Wraiths down here scrambling over this objective. The Wraiths have been utterly annihilated. 14 out of 16 of them have fallen. There's morale to take in the centre. Don't roll a 6. Don't roll a 6. The Lockhurst destroyers managed to hang in there. I've still got some destroyers over here that can push forward, and I've still got a flyer zipping through the sky that can drop some more Necrons in. That was an absolutely brutal turn, but it isn't over yet. The Tau are going to need to start pushing forward in turn 3 and turn 4 to try and take the Pillars of Hercules. And one of these Riptides is down to 2 wounds remaining. And I want to say I've still got some shenanigans up my sleeve. I think it's not over. I've still got some stuff I can do as we go on to Necrons. Turn 3. So first up, once per battle, my Destroyer Lord raises the Orb of Eternity. And let's see how many of these destroyers come back on 5s. And when I said 5s, I meant 4s. I get 3 back. Here we are after my movement phase. The Tau firepower last turn was absolutely brutal, but in this turn, I intend to take out both of the Riptides and potentially go charging in with this unit of Wraiths over there. I've healed 1 back in with the Technomancer, who advanced up along with the first unit of Scarabs. The other unit of Scarabs and the Spider is staying over here. They've been told to hold on that objective while the Nightside zips through the sky up above. And into the Riptides, one of the Doomstalkers can hit the one on the right, the 2 on the left can hit the one on 6 wounds. So hopefully both of the Riptides go. And then down in the middle, healing up this squad with the Orb of Eternity. They have a 5+ invulnerable save. They have a 5+ invulnerable save. They have my will be done on them. That's going to be a lot of firepower. And maybe there won't be very many Tau left in the castle, in the backfield. And then over on the left flank, Night Scythe number 2 dropped in with all of these warriors backed up by the Immortals. You took down my Monolith. Now I need to take away that Plasma Crisis team. So let's start here in the shooting phase. Of course, they're deployed because of Prismatic Dimensional Breach. You think
I've just taken you over it, man.
Right, and Disintegration. It's 3s to hit, but 6s auto wound you. Strength 5, Toughness 5, a wound on 4s at AP -2. That was bad. And that 40 shots only forced 9 4-up and vulnerable saves. Each doing a damage.
1, 2,
and I take out
3.
1 suit.
I'm going to command point.
I don't take out any suits. So the Immortals will join in on 3s and 4s. And that's 6 more 4-up saves.
1 dies,
Right.
1's injured.
Finally take 1 out. Let's do all the Tesla from the night side. This needs to be devastating. This should have been more devastating. 6 explode twice with Tesla, causing more hits than shots as they flicker with electricity. But in the end, only 5 wounds. And this is going to hit the commander, so 2-up saves on him.
Fine.
Okay, all of that firepower only killed 1 suit. That's a problem for another day, I think. Okay, let's do Night Side number 2 at those suits. And I managed to do 2 wounds. The Starfall Light fired in as well. Now, we have D6 shots coming in at this Riptide. The one on 2 wounds left from a Doomstalker. Is the gun powered up? For 6 shots, it certainly is. It's going to destroy a lot of trees on the way through, though. On 4s. So 3 trees die.
4 trees.
And 3 wounds come through. 3 4+ and vulnerable saves. And the Riptide gets cut in half. And blows up, causing mortal wounds in and amongst the Tau lines.
The ungainly Godzilla.
What are you talking about?
Nothing, carry on.
You can tell them.
Winters is the Titan Killer. This is magnetised on top. He was passing me some dice, but all friendly as you like I'll do some mortal wounds to your own guys, Sam, so I did. And then they knocked the table and these guns went, whee!
Look, I've only ever killed... Well, it didn't count as a Titan, the one that I killed. It was Eldar.
Yeah.
There is now a Riptide shaped hole in the middle of the battle grid there. Not in the middle of your lines. Mortal wounds and drones destroyed all over the place.
Lots of drones gone.
And that is one of the Riptides from one of the Doomsday Cannons. I'm going to fire these separately this time, because if one of them manages to kill that second Riptide, then I'll fire the next one at the XV-88.
Yeah.
So here's gun number 1.
Oh, you're always running hot with those.
Well,
for number of shots.
I hit you all the times, and to hit as well. Yeah, good. 3's to wound. 3 wounds, 3 4+ invulnerable saves on your Riptide. And it does 9 damage and kills the second Riptide, which also blows up. No, it doesn't blow up. It would have been good though.
It would have been good.
2 Riptides down. Let's fire at the XV-88s, and this time I only have 2 shots. And I know there's still a drone in that squad, and I miss anyway.
Oh, good.
So high power cannons stitch in over the heads of the Lockhurst destroyers, which are now shooting at the XV-88s. Right, Sultan, I'm firing the back squad first.
Okay.
Because I've only got 3 in range, and if I kill too many with the front squad, they'll all be out of range.
Okay.
So these 3 plus the heavy dude. And these guys hit on 3s and re-roll 1s. And they're going to wound on... Well, you're toughness 6, aren't you? Oh, okay. So 3s to wound. So 1 kills a drone.
Yep.
And then 3 saves.
3 saves.
Okay.
5 ups. Oh, wow. Make 2, fail 1, but that's D3, so it could still kill a suit.
Yeah, and you've done the CP reroll already. D3 damage. It does kill a suit. And then the front unit of destroyers are going to fire in. And I'm going to spend 2 CP on extermination protocols. 1 minute. I've got the destructor to fire first, which rerolls 1s and hits and wounds. And -4, you need a 6.
Nope.
And that does 3d3 damage.
Kills
for 8 damage, which kills the other suit. Yeah, and now we're onto the front squad. And with hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, and re-rolling all wounds with extermination protocols, both Riptides are dead, and the XV-88s have been wiped out. And that is the end of my shooting phase. Not a lot of damage caused over on this flanks, and of course, I have barely touched the Lords of War in the backfield, but over here we only have 2 commanders and 1 suit left hanging on to the left flank. Because I did such a good job of clearing away the centre, the Scorpec destroyers are out of charge range now. So the only thing that can charge is the Wraiths. And I'm just going to charge this guy. Let's get rid of the fusion. You are overwatching on 6s.
Yeah, 6s explode and all. So there's explosion.
So that counts as 2 hits because of KO.
And wound on 3s with a single little reroll.
Okay, this could be useful. I fail one of the saves. 1 is on 1 wound remaining. He gets wiped out. The remaining 2 Wraiths. Charge 3 inches. I'm going to have to command point that. Come on now. A 4 and something
4
is enough to get them
1
in.
will be fine, yeah.
And 2 Wraiths come smashing in. And they'll hit on 3s because of the Cryptek nearby. And wound on 3s. And this little suit needs to make 4 up saves.
He tries.
He makes 3 of them.
How much damage are these?
2 damage each.
He's got 1 left.
No.
Yes.
The suit punches back, causing no wounds. So instead of getting wiped out there, his Overwatch has kept him alive. And remember, suits can fire into close combat, and also with K-On, they can fall back and shoot now. It's turn 3. So the Necrons have come spilling down out of these hills through the Pillars of Hercules, and this has been a brutal battle, a devastating battle, and very few of the Tau units remain. However, the Supremacy Armour and the Storm Surge, well, they can delete whole units, maybe 2 or 3 on their own. And there's still a unit of crisis teams, suits, teams, things to jump in.
Stuff.
What have they got?
Cyclic Ion Blasters.
Okay, right, thanks. So let's see what the Tau can do in turn 3. Here we are after the Tau movement phase, after much deliberation and with big gaps in the Necron lines. The Tau are not dropping down behind them. Instead, talk us through what you're doing, Zoran.
So I've spent a CP on Dynamic Offensive over here, the auto 6-inch advance, no penalties to firing assault weapons.
Yes.
I've dropped in my team here with drop zone clear to re-roll everything, and there's a marker light on the big squad of destroyers in the centre.
Okay.
This guy's staying in combat to get those exploding 6s and maybe hold you up for another turn on the really choppy stuff.
Right.
I'm trying to clear the centre as much as possible.
The centre.
There's two things I want there. There's the objective towards the end of the game, and your warlord is slowly making his way towards me. So there's some shenanigans I can potentially pull later in the game if I do well now.
Sweet. Let's go on to the shooting phase. So we're starting with the crisis suit that just dropped in.
Yes.
They're firing what now?
So they're firing cyclic iron blasters on the overcharge setting, which is 2 damage.
Okay.
But more ones to hit will do more to wounds to me.
Okay.
So we're hitting on 3s because of the marker light.
Right.
So marker light and re-rolling.
Because of drop zone clear.
Yeah, 6s explode. Because
of K-on.
K-on.
So those 4 6s count as 8 hits.
Yeah. This is the first suit. There's another
What?
2. Yeah.
This is just...
Yeah.
What?
They're 3 iron blasters. It's a very expensive way to run them.
Okay.
It's so cool.
Okay.
So I'll do this one guy.
Yes.
And then we'll do the others in turn.
And he wounds on what now?
Strength 7.
3s.
He's a -2. He's re-rolling the wounds.
Damn it. So that was 12 by one guy.
Yeah.
Let's do the other 2. And when the guns from that squad fall silent, there's 32 wounds that come through. -2, 2 damage. I need 5s and lots of them. And that would have killed 9 destroyers. There's only 7 in that squad. And he didn't take any mortal wounds. The triple cyclic iron blasters from the crisis team absolutely annihilating that squad. Now the Scorpec Lords, destroyers are going to get split up, shot up by this crisis team over here, but they're hitting on 4s.
They are. No re-rolls.
I feel better about that. Only 3 hits and no exploding.
Yeah, no explosions.
Okay.
So it'd be 3s to wound to strength 8. And a re-roll one of those.
Okay.
There you go.
I have 5+ invulnerable saves. I make 2 of them and then reanimate. I don't reanimate. These crisis suits are like night and day. I mean, when they dropped in with all the re-rolls and stuff, absolutely brutal. When they hit the target, they hit the target. But now they're moving around to their second position. Right, what are we going on to now?
We're going to do the crisis suit in combat over there.
Brilliant.
Having a fight. So he's got 2 shots.
Yes.
Hitting on 3s at this range. Hits
One
once. A wound on a...
Not
that,
that.
but I get to re-roll it. Wounds.
And I make the invulnerable save. He might get chopped down in close combat. Now we're coming across here, firing 3 fusions from Sunstrike.
Storm Shadow, yeah.
From Storm Shadow, the second in command, into the unit Scorpex. I'm spending CP on Whirling Onslaught, -1 to wound.
Okay, so he hits on 2s.
Right.
No explosions.
Okay.
Because they're out of range.
4s to wound?
Wound on 4s, yeah.
What has he got? Plasma.
Fusion, so strength 8.
5+ invulnerable
I get to
save.
reroll one of those, sorry. There you go. So
2 5+ invulnerable saves because the Chronomancer. I make them both. I boss it where Sunstrike put in his shots.
He's going to go for the same squad.
Okay. So triple plasma, which I do get invulnerable saves against.
Yeah, so he hits on 2s.
Yeah.
Reroll for 3. And then he'll wound. It's -1 to wound, so it'll normally be 3s. So 4s with a reroll. Wounds twice.
Re-rolling to hit, re-rolling the wound because of warlord traits and things. 2 die, and then the one that ignores the invuln.
Hits. Wounds.
Damn it. So let's reanimate some stuff. That one gets back up, that one gets back up, and I get to re-roll a reanimation.
Luck. Yay, it worked!
So they only kill 1. 4 destroyers left in that unit, but now they're going to get lit up by the Tau Supremacy Suit. All its anti-infantry and chest weaponry going into the Scorpex, along with a melter gun, and the shoulder cannons, and the left fist, its big ion, is coming down into Lockhurst, right up the gut, right between the Pillars of Hercules. Here's the melter shot on the Scorpec, on 3s. 4s to wound because of Whirling Onslaught.
2 wounds.
I fail a save, 1 dies. 1 minute, D6 damage. 1 dies. SMS on 3s. But 5s to wound as they dodge right and dodge left. I fail 3 of the saves. That wipes 1 more out, leaving 2 remaining. 7 wounds came through with the burst cannons, 3 up saves. There's still 2 remaining. 1's on a wound. Then I get to reanimate and no more get back up again. 2 Scorpec left. Now shoulder cannons coming in at the Lockhursts on 3s. And wounding on 2s. And then I have 5 up saves on them because of Chronomancer. Ooh. And 1 gets evaporated. 3d6 shots with the ion cannon. And that's 10 shots. Which hit on 3s. And wound on 3s. No mortal wounds done to yourself. No 1s to roll. Roll to hit in the shooting phase. 5 up saves. Each one is a dead dude. I lost 1 already. And that's the squad. And the Supremacy Armour pretty much clears the centre of the Pillars of Hercules on his own. Even a CP reroll wouldn't have kept me safe there. You've now got the Storm Surge. And my Warlord is looking somewhat exposed. You could shoot somewhere else, though. There's
that's
stuff
3
of
victory points.
Well, D3. It's only D3.
It could be 3 victory points.
Are you scared to fight me? Fight me in close combat. Noble combat.
Tell you what, I'm going to ignore him this turn.
So after the town art, the Storm Surge fired in. Its big guns and all of its other stuff smashed into the Scorpec Lords. All of its other stuff. Burst cannons.
Loads of stuff.
And then the missile launchers fired down in at the Scarab Swarm down here, killing 2 of them. And that is the end of the Tau shooting phase. A big pocket opening up in the middle of the table. No more reserves for the Necrons. We're on to the fight phase. This crisis suit guy gets to punch first. He's got 3 attacks and he hits on 5s.
Defenders fight first.
Oh yeah, I'm a defender. I'm going to hit on 3s.
Yep.
With my Wraiths.
Yep.
What?
Oh, yep.
What? In your turn, if you're still alive?
I'm just seeing if I can blow up, that's all.
Okay. Well, I wound him 3 times at -2 damage.
3-4 up in brothers then. He's only got 1 wound. He tried, but he's dead.
Does he blow up?
I don't know if he has a detonator thing.
So fail-safe detonator, you need to roll a 3+.
Vengeance against the Cadians.
Okay.
He blows up.
Okay. D3 mortal wounds.
1's definitely dead. Maybe.
For 1 mortal wound.
Oh wait, that 1 wound's on me, innit?
Yeah. You do 1 wound to Murray. And that's the end of turn 3. This is the footprint of your army here. The strike team, which was sent to stop the Necrons spilling on through. It's been an absolutely brutal game and it isn't over yet. I've got a horde of warriors holding down the right objective and a horde of scarabs and a spider holding down the left objective. And 4 characters standing in the middle wondering where all their cover went as we go on to Necrons turn 4. Here we are after Necrons movement phase. You'll notice the air cover is gone. Both of the flyers are flashed back off the table. The reason why I've done that is because there's a lot of 2-up saves down here. And I'd like them to zip back on turn 5 for their next attack run and hit something that's about to tear up one of my units. The Technomancer over here with Rites of Reanimation put a Wraith back in, and I spent a CP on the Deathless Arise, so you can put a model back in to 2 units. He put 1 back in on the Wraiths and 1 back in on the Scarabs, and then Imhulu, the Divine Weapon, has called the Technomancer and the Scarabs back towards him for a little bit of protection and to hold the pillars here. Screaming out challenges to the Tau, daring them to come forward and try and take the pillars from him. The Lockhurst Destroyer Lord is doing what Destroyer Lords do, which is they want to just destroy. You know, destroyers will start at your suits and then they'll make their way down to the foxes and the squirrels and the badgers and the pandas, and then they'll kill all the trees, and then they'll kill all the grass, and then they'll keep going until all biological matter on this planet, on your set world, has been wiped out. That's what they do.
Surely these guys don't want to be standing too close to them then, because they'll get ill.
Oh, well, they do, but don't call me Shirley. And then over here, this Chronomancer used his Veil of Darkness to zip over here. He can't give them a 5+ invulnerable save yet, but next turn, in turn 5, if I can keep a unit of OBSEC on this objectives here, I may yet win the game. What?
You know what win is? You can have that one.
What?
If you're going to keep 25 lads over there, you can have it.
Okay, so you let me keep this one on.
Keep that, yeah.
Which means that you're going to have to get the other 2 or try and slay my Warlord. We're going to start off with the shooting phase.
Okay.
I've got some Doomstalkers firing big cannons, and I think I can only just hit that Crisis team. Yeah, checking line of sight and range. The only thing they can shoot at is them. So we'll do it all together. I am firing through trees. This number of shots. Firing through the trees, I'll hit on 4s and wound on 2s. 6 come through at -5. D6 damage. You have 4+ invulnerable saves, and you failed 4 of them. First one.
I don't know if I want to do save protocols. I'm probably not going to.
No? One's dead already.
Yeah, because you're going to roll perfectly.
Am I?
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see. One's dead. Next one's dead. Next one's dead. Yeah, I rolled perfectly.
See, the one that you wouldn't have rolled.
After the Doomstalkers fired, I fired everything on this flank. The warriors, the immortals, into your crisis team and put 1 wound on them, and that is the end of my shooting phase. Some big guns in the middle doing some serious work. Very little damage over here. And now we're going to charge. These wraiths are going to try and charge your second in command. And they charge 10 inches. And Storm Shadow overwatched with the last Tau CP, killing one as they came in, and then the wraiths strike out on 4s. And only hit twice. And wound twice at -2. Trying to save on the drone on a 6.
First one. No,
Dead
so the
drone.
drone's dead. And then on her, she has a 2 up armor save.
Okay.
So 4 up.
And she takes 2 wounds. So she's on 5 wounds remaining and strikes back with the Honored Gauntlet.
3s to hit.
And hits every time. And will wound on 2s.
With a reroll.
And wounds 4 times. I need to pass invulnerable saves because each of these does 3 damage. And I fail 3 of them. Tau close combat is a thing. She
For
wipes
one
out.
person, yeah.
Well, but just this Honored Gauntlet that he wipes out the wraiths. And that is the end of Necron's turn 4. There are 5 units left of the town, both of the commanders, both of the Lords of War, and this crisis team over here. And they still need to clear the Pillars of Hercules. But they've got 2 full turns left. And they need to jump onto those objectives as well. Either that or slay my warlord as we go into Tau turn 4. Here we are after the town movement phase. The remains of this battlesuit ambush squad have zipped forward. Talk us through what you're thinking, Sultan.
So Sunstrike's entire goal here is to kill the warlord and take the objective next turn.
In Hulu?
In Hulu, yeah.
Is that where you advanced him round there?
Yes, so he's going to be -1 to hit through the trees anyway, but if he's advanced this way, your big guns can't see him.
I can't see him.
So he's come here with his shield drone.
And if I move the big guns, then they can't fire that far.
They're not doing very well, yeah. Meanwhile, everybody else is advancing forward, apart from the Storm Surge, who's still got his anchors rocketed into the earth. I'm going to try and kill this guy, kill these scarabs, and leave your warlord open to target.
How did these move an extra 6 inches?
Dynamic advance. They were ordered by Sunstrike over the radio to do a 6-inch auto advance.
With the CP you got back?
With the CP I got back. So there's no negatives to hit. 5s and 6s explode across the army if they're within 12.
So it looks like you want to clear the centre and take my warlord.
Yes.
Potentially leaving me to the flanks. But you will have the last action in turn 5. I like the fact that the Supremacy armour is just stomping forward now.
Yeah.
As we go into the tower shooting phase. Starting the shooting phase is the Storm Surge, firing everything down into scarabs.
Yes.
Measly scarabs down here, trying to clear them away from the characters.
It's not the most glamorous target, but it's going to clear your warlord for a sniper shot from a plasma rifle.
Cluster rocket system, 4d6 shots.
Minimum 3.
For lots of shots.
Yes.
Hitting on 4s. And re-rolling.
Yes.
Then after the re-roll, wounding on 3s.
With a single...
3 die, one's on 3 wounds. SMS on 4s. Re-rolling. Wounding on 3s, no save. Now there's 4 hanging in there. Then 12 burst cannon shots come in.
4s.
On 4s. I get a save against these, though,
You
right?
will, you get a 6-up save.
Finally. For re-rolling.
Sorry, I didn't do those 3.
Yeah, okay.
Rolled that weirdly. Apologise. 3s.
7 wounds.
Nice saving.
There's 3 left, and now the big cannon on its shoulder, the pulse blast cannon. It's on 4s.
With the reroll.
With a reroll.
And killing on 2s.
Yeah, will absolutely destroy them. 4 damage weapon here. The disperse shot, polishing off the scarabs, which means they don't get to reanimate. Just molten metal runs around the character's feet. Next, Storm Shadow, triple fusion against my Destroyer Lord.
Yes, sir.
On 2s.
Those all explode.
Why?
Because Kion.
Oh yeah, in this turn it's...
Yeah.
That's 6
What's his
hits with
toughness?
3 guns. 6 or something? 3s to wound.
So 3s to wound. Everything but
5
one,
wounds.
and she gets to re-roll that, which misses. There you go.
Okay. Well, I've got a 4 up invulnerable save. I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to be fine. Each of these is D6 plus 2. Yeah, it's two, I mean, that is 8, 10, 12.
14.
The many.
Yeah.
He gets melted to molten metal as well. My Destroy Lord had -1 damage with his Warlord trait. It didn't help him. And now we're on to the Supremacy Suit. You're splitting fire all over the place.
Yes.
The Pulse Ordnance driving concentrated mode, hitting the first of the Doomstalkers.
This be 3s.
And wounds on 3s.
With a single.
I need to make 4 up saves, and I
Wow.
make them all these dice available from the deployment zone.tv merchandise page. Ion Fist, 3d6 shots coming into the next Sentinel construct for this number of shots, which hit on 3s.
Yeah.
And wound on 3s. And I only make 2 of those. I make 3 of those, so they take 6 damage, one's on 6 wounds remaining. And so splitting the fire between 2 big guns didn't take down either of the Doomstalkers here. However, we next have the Ion Gun on the right fist, firing Diffusion on the right fist, firing down at this Technomancer. And he gets utterly wiped out. And now we have all the small arms, all the missiles, all the burst cannon shots coming into my Chronomancer. And after rolling to hit and rolling to wound, he's got this many 5 up saves. You'd have killed him 8 times over. And that firepower clears the centre of the battle grid. Last thing left to fire, your Crisis team with their Plasma and Sunstrike staring at my Warlord. So what are you doing with Sunstrike? Going to shoot the trees instead?
Yeah, he's going to shoot through the trees into his own guys.
Okay, good, yeah.
Yeah. No, going to shoot at them.
Don't
and
shoot.
then, Emperor forbid, or
But
whoever the Tau pray to forbid.
I'm screaming at you. Fight me in close combat, you cowardly...
Close combat isn't honourable for Tau.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So he hits on 2s.
3s because you advanced.
He hits on 3s. Re-rolling, doesn't matter.
Okay, right.
So he's... I need to measure how far away he is, Winters.
Well, he wounds on 3s, re-rolling all failed
But
wounds
that might
because of...
explode.
Oh. It's Kaon. It's Kaon's explodes on within 12, right?
Yeah.
So that's what?
They explode.
So that's 5 hits.
Yeah.
That's rude. 3s to wound, re-rolling all failed wounds.
Yeah. Whoa, his dice also no longer available.
No, that colour isn't, but
OG
we've
dice.
got some purple ones though. There is some purple. See some more purple. These are the new
Very
colours.
pretty.
They are, aren't they? So 4 plus invulnerable saves, right?
Yeah.
5 of them. Drop dice don't count. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ooh. Command point. He takes 3 wounds. He's still alive.
1 gun left.
What's that?
From Sunstrike. It's the one that ignores invuns.
What? Oh,
So he hits on a 3.
yes.
It hits.
Yes.
I'll take a different dice.
Wounds on a 3.
Wounds on a 3.
It wounds.
3 damage.
And that's not enough for him to survive. So I'm lying him on his side. In
Why are
Hulu,
you
the
lying?
divine
Why is
weapon
he on his
is...
side?
Don't worry about that. He's just... you've got your crisis team. What do you want to shoot your crisis team at?
Okay, right. I am worried about that, despite your assertions that I shouldn't be.
Don't
But
worry
I'm going
about
to fire the crisis team at this.
At the Doomstalker.
Yeah, it's what they can see.
Brilliant. Doomstalker getting lit up, hitting on 4s because the CP allows them to move that far without penalty.
Yeah.
You would have been re-rolling once, you didn't get any ones.
No ones.
3s to wound. These dice available from -4, 3 damage. 4 plus invulnerable saves. Each doing 3, 6, 9, 12. They have 12 wounds each.
Yes!
I've spent a CP already and it doesn't blow up. Just one of the Doomstalkers gets ripped apart and melted under the plasma shots. And that is the end of turn 4. Got a lot of warriors and immortals over here. Some cryptex and some canoptech units and some immortals over here. And Imhulu, the divine weapon, is lying down on the job. Because resurrection protocols for 1 CP on a 4+, he gets back up with D3 wounds remaining.
wounds?
Looking for the fat 3 here.
Oh, he's got 3!
The full 3 wounds. Well, the other thing about that is, at the start of my turn, he's on 3 wounds. He'll gain another wound with living metal.
Okay.
He's back up to 4 remaining as we go on to Necron's turn 5. And here we are after my movement phase. I'm giving up the central pass to the Pillars of Hercules. You can take that. That's 1 point for you if you're on there at the end of the game, okay, Sultan?
Okay.
But over on the left flank, there's 25 objective secured models down here, 26 with the Cryptek, and I've given the Warriors a 5+ invulnerable save, so they're not going anytime soon. Over on this side, the Spider and the Immortals are swarming around this one. So I should have 2, you should have 1, and then it's going to come down to killing the Warlord, because I know the tactical thing to do would be to step back. Step out of combat, but Imhulu, the Divine Weapon, he's an honourable combatant.
That's his Warlord trait.
That's his Warlord trait. This is your Warlord Sunstrike, so he's going to go wheeling in there. However, he might be honourable, but the Flyers aren't. You shot at me, I'm going to shoot at you. The 2 Night Sides coming back on, and we're going to fill Sunstrike with a Tesla electricity. 10 shots each, 20 shots in total, doing it all together. 3s to hit and 6s count as triple hits. And his strength 7. These are wound on 3s. 13 wounds. He's surely got a 2-up save, right, Sultan?
No, he's got a 3-up today.
Yay, he's dead.
I'm going to have to do the drone one at a time.
Oh, yeah, he's still got a drone behind.
Yeah, sorry.
What's that got? A 4-up save?
4-up invuln, yeah.
All right, 1 at a time. Here we go.
So 1.
Dead drone.
Dead drone, okay.
12 3-up saves. On Sunstrike.
First damage is ignored.
Right.
Because of his Warlord trait.
Okay.
But he has 3 go through. So he has 4 wounds remaining.
Brilliant. Softened up beautifully for the charge. 4 wounds remaining. Beautiful. Okay, so your fastest squad are probably the Crisis team. So we're going to fire both of the Doomstalkers down at the Crisis team. With living metal. They're not bracketed anymore. I'll do it together again. And they have 8 shots, which hit on 3s and wound on 2s. And those are 4+ invulnerable saves. And on your shield generator, sir, 5 4-ups.
Make 3 fail 2.
Okay, D6 on the first guy, D6 on the second guy.
So
I should command point that one, obviously.
Well, one was only got 2.
One was injured anyway.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I
save your
wiped
command
out
point.
2. How many are left?
2.
2. That is the end of my shooting. Oh no, I've got some small arms around here that can flicker up at the Supremacy armour. I put a wound on it, Sultan. How many wounds is it left on?
26.
Brilliant. Okay.
This is my Warlord.
That is the end of my shooting phase. We're now going to... Ooh, 1 minute. No, they advanced. Yeah, that is the end of my shooting phase. So in Imhulu, the Divine Weapon is going to charge Sunstrike. You don't have any CP to
I'm worried about this.
I've got 1 CP left in my pocket
in
case I need to CP reroll this. You ready?
I'm ready.
I don't need to CP reroll this. We go charging in, and I challenge you to a duel. Because we're in an honor duel, I'm up to 6 attacks, and Imhulu will hit you on 2s.
Oh.
And he hits 5 times. And I'm going to spend the CP. My last one. I hit 6 times. His Hyperphase Glaive will wound on 3s. And he only wounds 3 times, each doing D3 damage.
Oh.
And you have 4-up invulnerable saves.
Come on, Sunstrike. Come on, Sunstrike! Yes! It's for the big 3, though.
I do 3 damage to him.
I like Sunstrike. I don't know.
He's on 2 wounds remaining.
Fair.
Sunstrike hits back on 3s. You don't have to
With a
agree.
reroll.
You don't have to agree with me when I. You could say no, Winters. You're the most honourable person.
I could
You
force
could
a wound. Yeah. I'm gonna
reroll in. 3 wounds.
No AP though.
He takes a wound. He's on 3 wounds remaining. How much does your plasma guns do?
3.
3 damage.
Yeah, 1 will just go straight through.
That is the end of my turn 5. The battle lines are drawn.
Yes, sir.
The Tau need to defend the Pillars of Hercules. Maybe you won't defend the Pillars of Hercules and lose the battle, but win the war by taking down Imhulu, the Divine Weapon. Let's find out how the Tau respond in the very last turn of the game, in turn 5. Here we are at the end of the movement phase. Storm Shadow moves forward with the Crisis team onto the central objective. Storm Surge staying still, and the big Suit of Doom coming down towards the Warriors over here.
Oh yeah.
And then Sunstrike staying locked up with Imhulu. Why are you staying locked up?
Because I'm going to do Tau close combat on you in the shooting phase.
But we'll start the shooting phase with the Crisis team in the middle, firing up at the flyer, and they utterly blow it from the sky. And then Storm Shadow also fires up at the second flyer with her triple fusion. With Kaon in effect, Tau shots exploding on 4, 5s and 6s, those flyers stood no chance at all. Now we're coming across to the big Tau suit. If you can clear away this objective here, I won't score any points.
The plan is to kill all the warriors with the big man, and then the Storm Surge shoots the man that's left.
What, the Cryptek?
Yeah.
Okay, good luck.
Thank
So
you.
starting off with the shoulder-mounted guns using the disperse fire, which we haven't done yet, and it's blast, heavy D6. So that's 18 shots coming down into the warriors. 3s to hit. And these all hit, but they count as double hits.
Yeah.
Strength 8, wounding on 2s. 5+ invulnerable saves. Blammo. There's 9 warriors remaining. Now the melter on 3s. And
those
2s.
explode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 2s.
Okay.
These
5+
invulns,
invulnerable save because the Chronomancer. Another 3 get wiped out. There's 7 left. SMS
3s.
with 10 exploding hits there.
Yeah.
3s to wound. Oh mama. Kaon really kicking in there, maximising the amount of firepower. 5 up invulnerable saves. There's 7 of them left. That is the squad. And blam, that was absolutely devastating shooting, wiping out the squad of 20 immortals, even with a 5+ invulnerable save. What is the Storm Surge firing at?
So burst fire can only just about hit these guys.
Okay.
The cluster's going to go into him too, but the SMS and the big gun is going to go into him.
Because he's not within 3 of them.
Yeah, and also because if they live, he can charge them with his 2 damage feet.
I hope this would be enough to withstand all the firepower you're throwing in, but clearly not.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the number of shots with the rockets. That's 11 hitting on 4s.
Rerolling.
And re-rolling.
No explosions at this range.
Okay.
Because we're quite far away.
And winning on 4s. -1. 5 4-up saves. One of them falls over. Now the burst cannons.
Yeah. 4s with the reroll.
Okay. At least you don't get those exploding
Yes.
dice rolls with K. Oh, you hit with everything anyway.
4s.
4s, yeah. And toughness 5. Forcing 7 saves of 3 up. Another one falls. Now the SMS into them. I might be able to withstand this. On 4s. Please hang in there. Please hang in there. Please hang in there.
They're hanging in.
And then 5s. 3s, sorry. 4s. What am I talking about? 4s, because it's strength 5 versus toughness 5. That's what I had in my brain.
3 4-up saves. Oh,
there's one left. That's not enough to force a morale either, because there's leadership 10. And then the big gun shoots into the Chronomancer. 6 shots, hitting on 4s. With your reroll. For 4 hits. And wounding on 2s. 1 wound.
I don't have any command points.
It's 4 damage. It will absolutely nuke him if I fail a 5+ invulnerable save.
Do I have a command?
No, he gets nuked. To answer your question, you do have 1 CP, yes.
Oh, thank you. Cool. I might need to use it to reroll a charge.
What, over here?
Ah!
Absolutely brutal firepower, wiping out loads of infantry, taking the flyers down from the skies as well. And now we have Sunstrike firing to close combat.
I'm not going to mess about
All
using
right.
the ignores invuln 1 from the get-go.
Okay.
He hits on 2s.
Yes.
4s explode. He misses, but he gets the reroll. He hits and it explodes. He'll wound on... Is he toughness 5?
Toughness 5 or
He'll
something.
wound on 3s then, with a reroll.
Okay.
And it goes straight through the invuln.
Right, I'm lining him down on the side.
Not again!
No, not like you can only do it once.
Oh, okay, I believed you.
And my warlord gets taken out in close combat by guns, and that is the end of the shooting phase. And now the Supremacy Armor needs to make a 10-inch charge to jump onto this objective here.
Did you ram?
What? Oh yeah, I forgot to re-am. There's
2 come back.
There's 2 of them back. There's 3 there. 10-inch charge.
With a CP. Oh.
CP reroll.
CP reroll. Oh no!
And he failed the charge. I need to put 2 back. And that is the end of turn 5. And that's the very end of the game.
What a game.
I've won the battle for the gates, the Pillars of Hercules. Because I've got 1, 2 points. and you've got 1 point. So 2 points to 1. Have you got a dice?
Yeah.
Because you get an extra D3 for slaying the warlord.
Yeah.
Now, what this means is, if you roll a 1, it's a draw. I lost my overlord, but I get the Pillars of Hercules. It turns out I've got a lot more overlords in the back closet there that I can re-add. So it's 2-2, right?
Impala, Imhotep, the other one.
But if you roll a 3 up, it turns out that Imuhulu, the divine weapon, was rather key to the war, the long-term war, and we needed him for later on. So on a 1-2, it's a draw. On a 3, you win.
You know what?
What?
Before I wrote, I'm quite happy with either. We have bloodied each other here, and I'm a fan of it. And you know what? Your faction could probably take it more than mine can.
Well,
Tau are very squish, like not many of them. Necrons, millions upon millions of them.
There's quite a few
Billions.
more coming. Yeah, we've got a lot more resources than you. You had to drop in here with a heavy battlesuit list to try and stop this force from spilling out of the mountains. And look at it, we've just sort of taken the gates, but you've cut the head off the sky. Apart from this technomancer down here, I've lost all of my HQs.
Yeah.
So how disordered is the Necron force? Have you defended one of the homeworlds of the Sept of the Summer Lightning? Or is this simply a draw and we'll be back for more?
I mean, I would like to come back for more anyway, but here we go. Yes!
And it is a victory
Crushing.
for the Tau. And this is the way the world ends. Or rather, this isn't the way the world ends. This is the way the world is defended by Sunstrike and the Sept of the Summer Lightning. It's 4 points to 2 in favour of the Tau. We do hope you enjoyed that battle report. Don't forget to check out Salt and Play's YouTube channel on Salt and Plays. Thank you one more time to Den of Imagination for all the glorious level pour painting standard and their bases. And if you're wondering where I got all of my lovely gorgeous bases from, then they're from marchofwar.co.uk. We do hope you enjoyed that battle report. If you want some more stuff and things from me, videos and my Discord and all that sort of stuff, then become a tier 3 channel member. It's also a great way to support me, or you can join me in the deployment zone. Happy wargaming.